Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, ready to bring you your flatline racing bodies. Hometown heroes at the Hughes Speedway. First up, the A&J Custom Creations USAC Midgets. 10 cars in the field right now. You got to think. You got two favorites. Blake Chapman, Jack Hitt right now coming into this thing. They're dueling back and forth in the points. Too early to tell who's got that with drop week coming up. But I'll get on Patrick. I know Marty gets on him sometimes about those points. I need to do that. Make Patrick work even harder here as if he doesn't do enough for me and carry my load. And the checkered flag waves, we're going to get ready to go into qualifying here. Already, as it is 7 o'clock, they're not messing around here. Sticking to the script. But this one, I mean, really, it doesn't matter if they run a little longer because we can't start the next one until 7:15 anyway. So, no harm, no foul, the way I see it is B-Temp here in the 31. Going to get this thing rolling here for qualifying as he starts lap number 1. Going to roll the inside there through 1 and 2. Do the same here in 3 and 4. I imagine that's the line where you want to be right now. B-Temp going to take quick time by default. Let's see as the other laps roll in. where he stands. Terry Landis P2, Steve Bixler second, Jeff Barker third. Brandon Templeton holds strong for now. Purple through sector 1. He's going to improve. 12:66 on lap number 2 as the Hitman Jack Hit rolls around. He gave it all he had. Purple sector 2. Not quick enough through sector 1. As B-Temp holds on, Blake Chapman finishes up here. He's going to bring it home third. And, well, Brandon Templeton catching Shaggy slack in here. He said, "You don't want to mention me in this? Well, shame on you. I'm going to be here. I'm ready to play tonight." And going to go out there, take quick time. Brandon Templeton, Jack Hit, Blake Chapman, Terry Landis, and the General Andy Patton. Your top 5 in qualifying, and we'll have to see here. Should almost be done. Let's see. We're not going to get a time, I don't think. Or no, there we go. We can change that over to time. So everyone's qualified. Just about 5 seconds left, and we'll get ready to roll into heat race number 1. Should have 2 heats, I'd imagine, 5 drivers apiece, unless we do 1 heat with 10. Not too sure how we'll do that. Okay, 1 heat with 10. I like it. I just didn't want to jump the gun, but let's go ahead and read off the starting grid here. Just a little pre-race, obviously. Everybody making the show is just how we're going to seed you for the start of the A main. Row number 5 on the top shelf, the 7 of Bob the Good. Into his inside, the 41 of the Librarian, Pat Boyce. Row number 3 on the outside in the 75, the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Into his inside, 55 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Row number 3 to the outside in the 513, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Into his inside, the 87 of the General Andy Patton. Row number 2 to the outside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. And starting on the inside, the 217 of the Gentleman, Jack Hit. Row number 1 to the outside, the Salesman, Blake Chapman. And starting on the pole, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 is underway at Hughesett Speedway. Don't know why I said heat race number 1. It's going to be the only heat race here, and they're battling already here in the back. Jeff Barker, washed up to the high side, really opened the door, and Terry Landis took advantage of that inside starting spot, trying to walk away from Blake, who, maybe being a little patient, playing some defense for the man in front of him, but gonna have to pick up that pace. Here comes the 31 of your quick timer, Brandon Templeton, riding around in the middle, and he's looking quick. Blake's going to go lower than he's gone all race here, trying to really find it, but he just can't. Here comes Brandon Templeton mounting a charge in that 31. Looking to the outside here through 3 and 4. What can he do? He's going to have it at the line. Give P2 to the 31, and with 2 laps left here to play, does he have enough time to go up here and mess with the Desert Demon? He's going to look to the inside as Terry Landis rips that outside white flag in the air. One more trip around. Brandon Templeton just running out of sand here in the hourglass. Final time through 3 and 4. The Desert Demon takes home the checkered flag. Brandon Templeton, Blake Chapman, Jack Hit, Jeff Barker, Brian Moore Sr., Andy Patton, Pat Boyce, Bob DeGood, and Steve Bixler rounds out your field. With that here, we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your A&J Custom Creations A main here in the USAC Midgets. We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV. And well, you just saw that ad there. Let's touch on it. You know, C2C and Extreme eSpeed TV proudly present the second annual Coast to Coast Speed Week with all proceeds benefiting the Steve King Foundation. Join us for an adrenaline fuel-filled 2-track, 10-car, 10-race, 500 in payouts, and door prizes as well to the people who register. You know, random drawings there. And that, of course, starts this Sunday, February 16th, rolling through Thursday, February 20th. So make sure you go to c2crl.com if you're interested in joining. And, you know, even if you can't race, maybe you just say, hey, I feel like donating. I feel like helping out a good cause. And, well, I know everyone here at C2C, we would appreciate that. But let's take a look here at the starting grid for tonight's A-Main. Row number 5 on the outside, the Mayor, Steve Bixler. And to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 4 to the outside, the 41 of Pat Boyce. And to his inside, the General in the 87, Andy Patton. Row number 3 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. And lining up to his inside, Blake Chapman. Row number 1 for tonight's A-Main at the Hewsett Speedway. Starting on the outside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. And starting on the pole, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Terry's gotten it done already once this season with help of Blake, I believe, getting involved with a lap car. We'll have to see what happens here as the green flag's high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to play in the clay at Hewsett Speedway. Your USAC Midget feature is underway. Jeff Barker tries to get that inside. Well, look at him, low and slow there through 1 and 2. Looked like he choked. Oh, there's contact on the outside. That's B-Temp. Brandon Templeton going up over a right rear hard hit for the 31. Caution flag flies, and Brandon Templeton, he's going to go in there. He's going to have to get a quick repair. Let's see if we can get a better look here. What happened to that 30? So it looks like he switched a little late there now. Terry, obviously, you know, coming up a little bit, but Brandon, you see, he's starting to come down a little bit. You can see him trying to diamond off the corner, and I mean, Terry, he's allowed to do that. You know, Brandon's getting that late run coming off the high side as he's diamonding down, and you know, that's still Terry's territory. He doesn't know that run's coming on the outside, and you just can't. I mean, unless you're literally staring up in that rearview mirror, you got a guy live spotting for you, you're not going to know he's getting that big boy run on the outside. And Terry, I mean, he's just doing what he's done every lap here all season. You kind of float up on the exit. You need to use up all the racing surface. And you can't really point the finger there at Terry Landis. Just a racing incident. You know, that's not something either that you want to beat up Brandon Templeton for either by any means, because he's just trying to go out there and take the lead. But, you know, time and place. A little early in the race, and now he's going to have to dice his way up here through traffic. So not going to be an easy rest of the way here for the 31 of Brandon Templeton. Going to have to be patient. Going to have to hope for a caution or two that's timely, or, you know, maybe takes out a couple drivers in front of him. But as we roll through 3 and 4, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 22 laps left to play here at Hewsett Speedway. Terry Landis drops the hammer. We're back. Jeff Barker on the outside through 1 and 2. Tries to get a run on the gentleman here. Jack Hitt. He's got to have visions of winning this thing, and he knows if he wants to win, he's going to have to find a way through this set of teammates who are running side by side, battling for the lead. Can Blake Chapman find a way around her? At the same time, I know how nice this kid is. He's very calm too, but you know, you don't want to turn off the aggressiveness here just because your teammate's in front of you. You may end up get caught sleeping here, and the gentleman may find a way around as we take a peek back on through the field. Steve Bixler gets a little bit sideways in front of the 31 of Brandon Templeton, who we do get a caution. But man, oh man, I said it. You know, Brandon clearly, he's got a lot of speed. But now, what's going to happen on his way up through the field? He gets caught up in another incident here. And we click on Bob DeGood, who's behind the incident. So we're going to do that one more time. But you see, no real time to act. I mean, he's real close to that 75. Steve just drives it in a little deep. Too aggressive on the throttle. It over-rotates. And nowhere for that 31 to go. Slaps the side, and we're back under caution. Not going back green just yet here either. Light's still on the Steve King Foundation pace truck, so patience definitely going to be a factor here this evening. As whenever we do get that green flag run, because it's going to be coming. I mean, it'll be a war of attrition. We will get the green flag run. You've got to be ready for it, and you got to make sure on that restart you didn't make a mistake. You kept yourself in a good spot to win. This is where Jack hit. You know, this could be the one. I mean, this could be the final restart of the race. Jack knows it. Does he take advantage here of a timely jump? Does he follow Terry Landis on the bottom, maybe through a short slider on the salesman as we roll through 3 and 4? The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're back underway at Houston Speedway. A little contact in the back. Brian Moore Sr. goes around, and I think as soon as we got going, we may have another caution. No thanks. The flagman gets a little lazy here, keeps it in the pocket. As Blake Chapman side by side, but give it to the Desert Demon as we're edging so close down the backstretch. Terry with a better run off of 4. Blake with a better run off of 1 and 2 downstairs. So they're kind of rotating. Blake, there he gets up on the apron, and you see that thing bounce up out of control. Here comes the gentleman Jack hit. He's licking his chops. Ready to get into a fight here as we're on the wrong car. Let's roll on the nose here. The gentleman, see, he's watching teammates go side by side. He's rolling that middle. Gonna see if he can't flirt with maybe making it 3 wide. I mean, he may be out of options. Maybe the only thing the 217 can do here is Jeff Barker trying to work his way around the 41 of Pat Boyce. Brandon Templeton, I do believe he pulled off and just said enough's enough. Maybe the same with Brian Moore Sr. So this is that long green flag run I was talking about. And here comes the gentleman Jack hit to the outside. Can he get the pass done? The answer is no. Blake too good on the bottom through 1 and 2. This is where Jack needs to get a good enough run and slide down the hill in front, shut the door. Not able to do that here. Blake, can he get that excellent run off? No, not this time. Overdrove the center of 1 and 2. And now Blake going to be looking at that bottom podium spot at the line. Still side by side. You can't blink here to use it. We're not even there yet. 10 to go. There's still plenty of time. And you could put the top 3 under a blanket. Terry Landis moving up a lane now. There in front of the gentleman, he goes up a shelf higher. And actually, that's bad memory, Shaggy. He was always up there. Jack was the one running the middle. He still is through 1 and 2. He's going to enter about a half a lane lower than Terry. Jack just followed him the last time, maybe experimenting a little bit, trying to complete this pass for P2. Because when Blake hits it, it's very difficult, it seems like. But when he hits that bottom in 1 and 2, there's no quicker line. It's 3 and 4 right there, where you start to see that thing get a little squirrely. Coming out of the corner that Terry and Jack hit, just pull away. And that Jeter machine, man, he's got the purple people eater rolling. And Jack hit Blake Chapman. Welcome to the Terry Landis party. I talked about the guys running second and third because we really hadn't seen Terry, I mean, in all reality, seal the deal. Be this quick. He had kind of been in his own area code running the P3, and we'd watch these two guys do their thing, but now he showed everyone he's learned the tricks. And now the Master's ready to play. Blake Chapman, I called this place his playground, and coming out of 3 and 4 with 3 to go, finds himself in third, running out of time. Jack, with plenty of room, could go to the inside, could run where he is. Now it's up to the 217 as we come out of 3 and 4. He's looking to diamond down. Can't look low. 2 laps left here at Huset's. Jack drives it in deep. You see, looking for that run as the white flag flies. One more trip around. He takes a peek to the inside through 1 and 2. Can the gentleman make a move? They almost touch on entry. Terry Landis looks to have it on the high side. The Desert Demon gets it done at the Huset Speedway. Jack hit barely holds on to P2. Blake Chapman rounds out the podium. Pat Boyce and Jeff Barker, your top 5. Man, you know, I don't always do the best of clicking through the field. I know that, and I know I did a terrible job of that tonight. But how can you click away from these 3? Absolutely unbelievable run. And the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, man. Look at him getting it done. He's going to be smiling ear to ear inside that race car right now. Can't wait to pull him up and get a word with him. And just like I said there, we were due for the long green flag run. It came. And now, we'll see if we can get a word here with the man in the 20, the salesman, Blake Chapman. Did you see that opening restart incident? No caution flew, though. Definitely affected the outcome of this race for the 31 of Brandon Templeton, who just found himself wrong place, wrong time there in the back of the field. And now we're going to bring up the man who used to talking to him last here on Wednesday nights, but Blake, it looks like a couple people have learned the tricks now, man. You got some competition here. I know you're going to be happy with third place, but what was so difficult about the racetrack tonight?
Yeah, it was just a little weird, from my point. Usually the better corner for me running the bottom is 1 and 2, and tonight it was 3 and 4. If I was hitting it right, 3 and 4 was quicker than it was in 1 and 2. I just couldn't get in to turn 1 very well for whatever reason. It didn't get that slick. At least it didn't look like it was that slick, but I just wasn't getting very good runs off the bottom, and I just kind of kept waiting for it to come to me, and never really came to me that well. So, super happy for Terry. You walk into that KSR shop, he's definitely the master of these midgets. So super happy for him to see him at the top of that podium. But, hopefully we can get him here in the 360s and 410s.
Yeah, now obviously, you're wishing no ill will on that 161. But, I mentioned it a little during the broadcast. Do you think having that teammate to the outside maybe calmed that 20 down a little bit and, broke you off your pace? Were you too worried about the teammate on the outside, or like you say, just a little too tricky on the bottom tonight?
Yeah, I think it's just a little too tricky. I'm always going for the win. It definitely helped having a teammate in front of me. About lap 5 or I think it was lap 5 or so. Terry got sideways and in turn 1, and he keyed up right away, and I was able to get on the brakes, and we were able to keep it clean and not make any contact. Unfortunately, we got bailed out by caution. So, it's benefits racing around your teammates, and I was hoping that I could, get up to him and catch him there towards the end, but he was really consistent, really smooth, and so was Jack, and I just wasn't able to keep up with him on the bottom.
Well, hey, man, at the end of the day, another podium, and, well, you still got a lot of laps left to go here at Huset's tonight. We got the 360, the 410, so I'm sure I'm not done talking to you yet, but just in case, Blake, you know the deal here, man. I think we got some sponsors on that race car you want to thank.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry. Again, shout out to him for the win tonight. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Of course, I got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there. You can go online to their website and you can check out some of their very delicious product. And don't forget to use code CART, that's CART, at checkout for 15% off. And I got to thank everyone that puts on this league and you for the broadcast, Shaggy.
Well, hey, heck of a run, Blake. And like I say, man, look forward to talking to you again here tonight. Good luck the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
That's the salesman, Blake Chapman. And now we're going to bring up a guy who, man, oh, so close. Jack hit. Boy, it just seemed like you ran out of time, maybe having to battle with Blake a little bit too long, but you made your move. You just couldn't get it to stick there through 3 and 4. Talk to us about the race.
Yeah, playing pretty patient most of the time there. Started diming in late, got good run, and didn't think I had enough to really do too much on Terry, so I didn't throw it too hard in there, and he did a good job of defending the line and keeping me behind him.
Yeah, Blake talked to us about how, I mean, obviously we've seen the bottom work on this racetrack, but just seemed like it was really difficult tonight. And I mean, even there, you try it through 3 and 4, but we just see you lose the rear end. Was it kind of a, one laner unless you were going to go in there and really throw a slide job on a guy tonight?
I think the front and back stretch, especially the front stretch, kind of makes it one lane if you want to get that good run out of the corner. But there's a ton of different ways to go through the corner. So I was diamonding there late, like I said, and getting a good run. I just, with Blake being on the inside for most of the time, I didn't have a lot of room to really throw a whole lot at him.
Well, Jack, at the end of the day, battling back and forth here with Blake, you get the edge on him again here tonight. So may not be the spot you want, but at the end of the day, man, you guys put on a hell of a show. I mean, I kind of felt bad. I apologize to everyone else. I think I had it on you 3 for the final 15 laps, but I couldn't click it away. I mean, just how hard you guys were battling. Amazing race tonight, Jack. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, shout out Terry. Me and him been going back and forth in these midgets for years now and coast to coast, and always good to have a good race with him. And shout out to you for putting on the broadcast, the guys coming out to race, everybody behind the scenes, and of course my wife giving me time to do this.
Hey, hell of a run, Jack. Congratulations, man. Look forward to talking to you here later in the week.
Thanks, Zach.
Gentleman Jack hit, bringing home P2. And now we bring up the man of the hour, the man. I'm honest, man. Terry, I slept on you, brother. I said these two behind, we're going to duke it out. And it turns out you led the dance tonight. That thing was fast. I mean, Jack obviously took a couple peeks on you. Blake trying to get it done on the bottom, but the runs you were getting off the high side, just phenomenal. I mean, how'd that car feel?
Oh yeah, it was like riding in a rocking chair. Just set it in the turn and forget it. And around the turn it went and down the straight. Just watch your gas and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, really, I know you can't give away all the secrets, but as we're rolling out through the feature, are you picking up the throttle real aggressive, or do you kind of milk that thing getting back into it?
All depends where I'm out on the track. Like I was running flat out there for a lap or two up on the cushion. So,
There you
but
go.
then when you get down low, you just gotta, just watch your throttle and just ease into it. I always tell the guys back into on the Salty Dogs team, I always tell them think of an egg underneath your gas pedal and you don't want to break it.
That's a good analogy. You definitely want to be soft on that right foot. And Terry, it seemed like you were tonight. We caught a little glimpse of it, and I only got to touch on it because Blake ratted you out. What happened there in the early goings when we saw that thing jump a little bit sideways on you?
I totally missed my mark and threw it way in and then got sideways on me. I didn't expect it to. And I was yelled out, "Look out, Blake, it's go high."
Well, that's the benefit of having a teammate behind you, because he thanked you for that, because, I mean, that could have junked 2 race cars, and then, well, you guys would have had a heck of a time running down that 217. But tonight,
Oh my
Terry,
gosh, he was fast.
yeah, man, he was, but he couldn't find a way around that purple Jeter machine. You've got that thing rolling with that new scheme, man. We've seen a new Terry. You're back here on Wednesday night, so
I guess, yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, hell, everybody knows I have my podium drought too, but boy, oh boy, you were going through one there, man. You're back now. It's good to have you back here talking to you every Wednesday night. Absolutely love you, Terry. Great run, man. Who you want to thank?
Thanks, Shaggy. You, of course, putting on a great show. You're one of the best. And A&J Custom Creations, thank them for those cool trophies that they make and all the other stuff they do. And C2C, all the admins and Kreitzel track parts because you break things, and that's the place you want to go for new stuff. And then the guys back KSR and Blake for not running in the middle, staying on the bottom. And Galen's homegrown popcorn. Use the word CART and check out, and you'll get 50% off. And Jeter and my wife Judy.
Well, hey, heck of a run, Terry. Tell you the same thing I told Blake, man. I think I'm going to talk to you a couple more times tonight. So go out there, give him hell, bud. Good luck.
All right, Shaggy, thank you.
That's the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. You see there how close it got. This is the last lap through 3 and 4. Jack sent it in there. Blake gets that run on the inside, makes it a close battle to the line, but the Desert Demon holds him off, brings home the checkered flag here in the A&J Custom Creations USAC Midgets. And with that, we're going to step away here for a quick second, and we will be right back with your 360 feature here. The Coast to Coast Racing Network. Sorry, I dropped out a little bit. Sorry, my voice dropped out there a little bit. I was looking at notifications. Apparently, the stream lagged twice there, so my apologies if it did get a little choppy at one point in time. So it was a 2-minute span. But, hey, now I'm going to be quiet. We're going to run the ads, and then, like I say, we'll be right back for your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Cars here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love. It was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here, That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network, and we're not sure if the video decided to jump some ads for you guys or what happened. I noticed I got so many screens here, I didn't see that lagged a little bit. So sorry if one of the heat races, or if the heat race was a bit choppy, or maybe the opening intro. My apologies. We'll run it all over again. That first one was obviously the USAC Midgets, courtesy of A&J Custom Creations here on your Flatline Racing Body's hometown heroes Wednesday nights. And now, up is the Flatline Racing Body's 360 sprint cars here at the Hughes at Speedway. And Blake Chapman's put on quite the show here, no surprise. But right now, a man who he got some practice, got a little advantage on these drivers, I think. Brandon Templeton in the 31. He's at the top of the charts. There is. Well, my apologies. iRacing just full screen for me, and if I want to see the cool scoreboard, you guys see I can't have iRacing in full screen. I got to have that gray border at the top. Haven't made it fancy enough to go over top the full screen yet, so that's what we got to deal with here. Let's take a look at a guy we haven't seen yet tonight. That 518 of Joseph Grandy, he's always quick as well, but man, he's been involved in some unfortunate accidents. hasn't necessarily done the best in the heat races, so he's always got a big hill to climb in these 360s, and you don't want to set yourself on the back foot, so he's going to have to, you know, get that good qualifying position, start himself in the top 4 of the heat. We've got 10, 11 cars. Now we got the high side banger Patrick Spangler. He may have been the guy who fixed the broadcast and, you know, brought it back up live, because when I get scared if anything's going on, you send the guy in the 39 a message. Oh man, he's quicker than a drug dealer on responding to you. I mean, Patrick Spangler, he'll just get right to you, answers your questions in the timeliest of fashions. Brandon Templeton going to pull off, take a little break. We'll follow around the 513 here. Let's see something here. No, that ain't the camera I thought it was. That's the camera we thought it was. Get to see him wheel that thing around. Also get a little bit of a view here. You know, we're locked on the roll bar. See, just give it one crank, and then you try to set that thing up to, you're just turning a little right, and then get that wheel as straight as you can. You want all that exit speed. And Barker doing a great job of really having that wheel straight center off, and that's why he's P4 on the timing charts right now. Gavin Chatham in the 99, the Dark Knight, trying to wear down that outside, trying to raise that cushion a little bit here. Gets a little too high. Now Jeter's machine, he says, Shaggy, I don't know if you can get a little too high. 161, he'll get up there in more ways than one, that 161. He knows how to have a good time. He's got the Judy special right there on the front. I mean, look at that. Look at the tribute to the queen, the one who really runs the show back home. Terry knows that. That's why, you know, he's got to make sure, keep Judy happy. A happy wife. Well, you may get to live the rest of your life. That's what they say, right? As Blake Chapman rolls around here through the outside through 3 and 4. Currently P9, but, you know, hasn't gotten on the track early. Pretty wore in. Let's take a look, actually. We can show you their last times. So Blake right now running on 11:11. Who doesn't love that song? Last go round. Who else is on the racetrack? Jeff Barker is out there right now. What kind of times is he running? It's 10:89. I think that'll change. I think this is his first lap. If he's running 10:89s right now, let's wait. No, yeah, 19:38. I was going to say he just pulled back out. We'll see what him and Gavin do here. Gavin rolling around to give us an idea, an 11:21. So Blake about 800s quicker right now than Gavin, and Jeff in 11:16 is right there too. So 11:10 now for Gavin, 11:11, 11:11 for Barker. So right now, equal playing field. Track seems racy. I mean, Jeff's doing it in the middle. Gavin's doing it upstairs. That's kind of how Jack talked about the racetrack after he got out of the midget. Said, you know, and it's a product of what I've kind of tried to hammer down here over the past couple weeks. Everyone wants to float up to that wall, so it does become a one-lane racetrack going down the straightaway, you know. I mean, it's just natural. But now, you got to make sure that you branch off, try something else in the corner to give yourself room. And, well, just in case something like that happens, the 99 over jumps the cushion and finds that right front broken in the wall, pull it down, and could easily happen. As I get a text message from my father that's ended up not being important, but I'm on grandmother watch here. I take care of the grandmother, so if I ever get a text from him, I'm always worried it's something about my grandma. So Don't mean to have that trump into this, but sadly, well, no, you know what? Not sadly. I think the majority of people would think family first, so it's not important you tuck it away. You don't need to answer, but always got to check here. And speaking of checking, the 518 is going to check upstairs here what kind of grip we have right now. Joseph Grandy with an 11.06. One of the quicker laps here we've seen out of the guys still come out in this later stage. We saw Blake get to that 11.09, and that was even about 3 or 4 minutes ago. So more laps on the racetrack, maybe speeding up the outside. And, well, he gives us a nice little 360 before he teleports that thing to pit road, and it is 7:45 now. So not too sure when we'll roll. Should probably get ready to roll into qualifying here any minute, I'd be thinking. So maybe we're waiting for Patrick Spangler. No, there it goes. There it goes. A high side banger, Patrick Spangler. He is here. We got 11 cars. He just didn't put in a practice time. Gonna go out here and run blindfolded tonight. See what happens in qualifying. Surprise, surprise. The 31 of Brandon Templeton, that first man off pit road in the dirt track bank. 31 machine drives out of 4. He takes the green flag, lap number 1. Here we go. A little tight there on exit, floated up real close to that wall. Probably had to crack the throttle. There he goes, gets in the outside wall, and that's going to ruin lap number 1. So let's see here if he can get a counting lap here for lap number 2. He's going to have to play it smooth, keep it low, and let's see what that lap time looks like. It's still quick enough for the pole. Brandon Templeton. Man, oh man, all the chips were on the table. He had one more shot. And boy, oh boy, did he ring that bell. Hell of a lap from the 31 of Brandon Templeton. As we see Terry Landis coming around here, lap number 1. What's he going to do? Blake Chapman put at P4 his first lap. As he comes around, finishes up. Blake Chapman, can he improve? He does, only to P3. The Desert Demon, he's got to find some time. Terry Landis, just not going to find it. An 11.25. He's going to qualify 10th. Joseph Grandy parks at P5. And I have to see if Patrick Spangler is not actually racing. He's just here checking the session for me. Well, he's a godsend, first off. But second off, he may have been, had them disqualify him. So who knows? He may not even be here, as we only have 10 cars gridding, but qualifying, but let's see here. We can cheat. High side banger. No, he's white. He's here, Andy. He readied up with that little unique checkered flag emblem. So he's here. We're going to have 2 heats, and we're going to show you the grid for heat race number 1 right now. Row number 3 to the outside in the 39, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, and lined up on the inside, the 41 of the Librarian, Pat Boyce. Row number 2 to the outside in the 31, B-Temp Brandon Templeton, and lined up on the inside, the Salesman, Blake Chapman. Row number 1 for heat race number 1. Winner starts on the inside of the front row for tonight's feature. On the outside, the 518 of $100,000, Joseph Grandy, and starting on the pole, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Patrick here, he's going to do his disappearing act. He's not going to show up here at heat race number 1. Because we're gonna see if I can't fix this overlay here, because Patrick wants me to have time. Here, that's what I'm telling myself. That's what he's waiting on. He's a team player. He knows we have issues sometimes, and well, he wants to help me solve those issues. So thank you, Patrick, for taking your time here. We're gonna make that re-disappear. Or undisappear? What am I saying? Make it disappear. Wow, man. The brain is not working here tonight. You may see it refresh one more time on your end. And just like that, heat race number 1 should be ready to go. They realize I got it all prepared. There we go. The cars start rolling. I mean, that's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. That is what it's all about here in the Coast2Coast Racing League. Is Patrick Spengler going to start on the tail for tonight's feature if he does decide to show up and play with us? Is Jeff Barker ready to take advantage of this inside front row starting spot with the invert? Can the Brewerton Beast hang on and win heat race number 1, or can Joseph Grandy steal it from the outside? The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 is underway. Could run for that 518 center off, and he's looking to explore the lead here, but here comes Brandon Templeton to the middle, 3 wide. And Jeff Barker playing it smart on that inside, but now won't get a good run off of 4. And welcome Blake Chapman to P3. Brandon Templeton took a little peek there through 3 and 4. Just not a lot of run down there coming off, and you see that with Blake. He really caught him as he entered the corner, but had to get it so sideways to keep from floating up into those guys. You just don't have that corner exit speed. We see it with the 31 there. He's got to bite it down sideways. Didn't want to get into the 518. And if Joseph Grandy can set this thing on rails, that Inferno Motorsports 518 is going to be tough to pass, especially with these two duking it out here. 3 and 4, white flag in the air. One more time around. Can Blake find a way around the 31? Joseph Grandy, final time through 3 and 4. He's going to win heat race number 1 and start on the pole. Brandon Templeton, P2. Blake Chapman, 3rd. Pat Boyce, 4th. Jeff Barker, 5th. And Patrick Spengler, the nose show, P6. Heat race number 2. Another small field here. 5 cars on the inside, all by himself, of row number 3, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 2 on the outside, the 99 of the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham. And lined up to his inside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Row number 1 for heat race number 2. Winner starts on the outside of the front row. Starting high in that number 7, Bob did good. And starting on the pole in the 75, the mayor, Steve Bixler. I even reset that here. Thought that would do it. We're just going to reset it on your end here. Try one more time as we go into warm-ups. Said it once, say it again. I know these guys plenty well, so it's not going to affect me, I don't think. But the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 2 is underway. Steve got that right rear up, made Bob feel a little uncomfortable, but he didn't care, man. He is humming on that top shelf, looking to take the lead at the line as they're side by side. Gavin Chatham, look at him. He just needs a little crack in that door upstairs. And I think that 99 would think about taking it 3 wide, moves on up to P2, gets a run on the 7 of Bob the Good. Bob gets a little sideways in the center of the corner, and Gavin, good job being patient. He sees the 7 get the outside wall. Nowhere to go, gets into the back of him, and Bob the Good, he's going to tail out. Heat race number 1, tough for the 7. Steve Bixler, though, back to the front after Bob's mistake. Can Gavin find a way to rope him back in? He's running out of time through 3 and 4. White flag in the air this time. One more trip around. Gavin, he's got a mirror full of that 055. Can he make a move? He takes a peek down through 3 and 4. Final time. Steve Bixler holds on. Gavin Chatham P2. Brian Moore Sr. 3rd. Terry Landis 4th. And Bob DeGood rounds out the field. As we take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we'll be right back with your 360 Sprint Car feature presented by Flatline Racing Bodies right after this. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and well, we're getting ready to kick off our feature here. Is trying to mess around with some things. I see that the stream apparently chopped up a little bit again there, so I'm trying to look at that. Keep an eye on it. My apologies, but we're getting ready here for feature time. Hopefully it's good and clear. If not, well, I'm going to be scrambling here to try to figure something out. So let's hope the racing gods are with us here tonight. That's what we're hoping for. As we take a look at the starting grid, all by himself on the inside of row number 6. Haven't seen him grid, so not sure if he's going to be here in the race or not. Wouldn't anticipate it, but that 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Row number 5 to the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. And to his inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 4 to the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. And to his inside, the 41 of Pat Boyce. Row number 3 to the outside, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr. And to his inside, the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman. Row number 2 to the outside, the 99 of the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham. And to his inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row number 1 for your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 sprint cars at the Huset Speedway, starting on the outside. The 75 of the mayor, Steve Bixler. And starting on the pole, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. As we roll down the backstretch here for the final time, the 518. Set to bring us to the green flag. No stranger to leading the field, that's for sure. Should be a good restart as they get oh so close right there. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to play in the clay at Huset Speedway. We're underway. 100 grand slides right upstairs. Takes the lead in the 518. Looking to set the pace. Brandon Templeton with a good jump as well. But Steven Bixler started second, back to fourth as Blake Chapman moves on up. Brandon Templeton looking to the middle here through 3 and 4. What can he do? 3 wide. Blake Chapman down low there for a second. As boy, oh boy, man, they are racing hard. They're turning it on here at the Huset Speedway. Joseph Grandy gets a little sideways, but gets a good run off. Contact behind Mr. Wednesday Night involved in that. Steve Bixler in the outside wall through 3 and 4. Broke in right front. Gonna have to pull that thing into the infield. As 100 grand rolls out of 4, he's got pressure on the inside. Blake Chapman taking a peek, and here comes the 31. Man, he is tearing the wall down here at the Huset Speedway. Blake to the inside. What can he do here? The answer's he can do a little something, man. He's figured something out in 3 and 4. We've seen a weird racetrack tonight. I mean, he talked about it. Normally he's dominant on the bottom through 1 and 2. I mean, I still saw it last race there. If he could hit 1 and 2, he didn't necessarily agree with me. But right now, the bottom, where you want to be in 3 and 4 if you're Blake Chapman, is the 31 gets in the outside wall. That allows Gavin Chatham to reel him in the dark night. Started 4th. But really pacing himself as Blake Chapman takes a peek. We've got a new leader rolling through 3 and 4. Does he have it at the line? The answer's yes. Blake Chapman with 15 to go leads the way. Gavin Chatham to the inside, taking a peek back under the 31. Brandon Templeton, real good off of 4, able to steal back P3. But Gavin's so good on the bottom here through 1 and 2. He's able to go upstairs, shut the door. Blake sticks down low in 3 and 4. And so right now, different strokes for different folks here. It's just where you can master that throttle control, where you can find the grip on the racetrack. As the 31 throws a late slider, a little bit of contact, but the caution flag had already waved, and Gavin Chatham getting a hold on to P3 for now. Let's take a look here. I believe Pat Boyce, the 41, involved in the accident here. See, yeah, it does. Just gets in the wall, rides up a little bit. Terry Landis absolutely nowhere to go. He gets into that 41, but it ends up flipping Pat over on the lid. He tows it home anyway. Just going to call it a night there. Jeff Barker, he must have somehow walled it, gotten some damage. Not sure how he did that. Oh, the high side banger. Patrick Spangler, look at him. I thought my software was broken. He's going to pull it out on the racetrack a little bit later than, well, I anticipated. But Patrick, hey, man, he's here. Nice to see you, Patrick. Blake Chapman, though, he's got the lead. Him and Joseph Grandy fought back and forth for a couple laps, but just proved to be a little too much on the bottom. We'll have to see if Joseph has enough right rear tire to come back at him here in the later stages. Or if he just doesn't have enough. Plenty of time to play here. 12 laps is a long time. May not seem like it's short racetrack, but Got to go while the going's good, and the green flag's high. It's ready to fly. 11 laps to go here at the Houston Speedway as Blake brings us back to green. B-Temp gets in that outside wall there. You see rode it in there a little bit, able to get a run. But Gavin Chatham, speaking of runs, look at him in the basement through 1 and 2. Grandy tries to come down, pinch him off a little bit on entry, but Gavin already there in the 99, flirting with that middle podium spot, just can't find the drive. Having to pinch it off low coming out of the corners here. Not going to give up, takes one more peek as Blake Chapman comes across the line. 8 laps to go. Here comes Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. And Bob the Good and Terry Landis battling behind the Desert Demon, trying to find a way around that 7, but Bob the Good nice and smooth there on the bottom, and he's actually extended that gap a little bit from Terry Landis. Trying to go up here and play with these guys is Joseph Grandy. Trying to knock this wall down, find as much grip for that right rear as he can, and he's running out of space up there through 3 and 4. Not a lot of moisture up there, unless you're willing to go right in along the fence, and nobody better at doing that than the 518, but nobody better than this man here in a 360 sprint car as of late. Gavin's taking a couple stabs. Grandy's taking a couple stabs, but with 4 to go, low and slow, the way to go for the salesman. He's leading the way here. 3 laps to go this time. Who you got for P2? I'll tell you, your guess is as good as mine. Back and forth, back and forth. Gavin gets him in the center of the corner. He floats up a little bit, runs him out of room. Grandy does a loop-de-loop, and well, when you do the loop-de-loop, the flagman's got to do the pull. He's got to pull out the yellow flag and wave it. We are under caution here. And I imagine some choice words being said in the helmet of that 518. And let's go take a look here, see if we can get a good view of this. So Joseph, he gets a good run off the corner, just coming a little bit late. And I mean, Gavin, he does leave him enough. And I mean, honestly, if you're kind of looking at it through Gavin's eyes, you know, you almost have him cleared. You rightfully could have went up and shut the door, and, you know, I mean, Grandy would have had to diamond back under, but he put him in the spot where you're just forcing him to lift out. In the closing stages, it's nobody wants to do that. And well, when you don't lift out, sometimes it can cause an accident, and that's what we saw here. Tough break for the 518. Pacing around the lights. Nope, lights just went off on the Steve King Foundation pace car. So we should see it pull off this time going down the backstretch here, and we'll get ready to go back racing. A little green-white checkered action here in the dirt. And that's always advantage leader. Gavin's got to absolutely nail this. He's got to be perfect, or he's going to watch Blake sail off into the sunset here. Final time. Drop the hammer. We're back underway. 2 to play. Blake Chapman looking on fire down low. Here comes Gavin Chatham trying to beat down that wall as we're going to see the white flag fly. One more trip around for the salesman. Blake nails his marks through 1 and 2. Final time through 3 and 4. Goes upstairs and he sees the checkered flag wave. And Blake Chapman brings it home in the 360s here at the Houston Speedway. Gavin Chatham P2. Mr. Wednesday Night finds himself on another podium. Brian Moore Sr. P3. Bob DeGood 4th. And Brandon Templeton gets himself up into the top 5 after a rough start, but B-Temp back in the top 5. Definitely not what he wanted, but I think, you know, it's you salvage a top 5, it does feel a little better. And we'll have to see here. We'll try to get a word here with Brian Moore Sr. See if we can't pull him one up to the booth. Well, we got him right here. He no stranger to this on Wednesday night. Mr. Wednesday night himself. Brian, man, you find yourself kind of running around there behind those two in P4. You had them reeled in, but not really a place to go. And, well, you see that guy make the mistake, and, well, you had to pounce, Brian. It just seemed like it was tough to pass here tonight.
Well, them guys were running side by side for lap after lap, and man, once I caught them, man, there just was nothing I could do. I could peek my nose in there, make us 3 wide for a second or two, but man, I didn't want to do that. So I just kind of thought, well, I'm just going to have to follow these guys, and because I wasn't going to get by them if they continued to run side by side, and yeah, I don't know who that was, but they touched wheels and he went around, and man, I think I got some damage when I went by him there, but I was able to hold on. So
yeah, that was my question, Brian, actually, because we saw you make some contact there, and it definitely looked like the front wing was beat up a little bit. Did the car handle different those last 2 laps, or did it seem okay?
Well, it seemed a little looser. Like getting into the corner, it wanted to slide a little more than it had been. And I think the damage was on the left rear or the right rear. As I went by, I think my right rear caught him more than my front end did, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it seemed like just going in was a lot looser. But after that, I was fine all the rest of the way around.
Well, Brian, luckily you only had to hold him off for 2 laps because, after that unfortunate damage, it could have got interesting. But at the same time, I would have loved to seen you with a healthy car get to work on those 2, man, because you had a lot of speed. And like you said, you're just kind of trapped there, had to just be patient. And, well, you end up getting rewarded with a podium. So congratulations, Brian. Good run.
Yeah, thank you.
Who you want to thank, brother?
It paid off anyway. Well, Flatline Racing Bodies, mainly for their sponsorship in this Wednesday night deal. I really like racing this Hometown Heroes deal. And you, Shaggy, and your broadcast and all the administrators for Coast to Coast, man, them guys, they really do a lot of work behind the scenes, and I appreciate all they do. And then just the guys at SRC hanging out, having fun with me, and my brother Rick and Rona again. Just give them a shout out because he likes watching this stuff. He's going to be on here one of these days, he keeps saying, but not yet. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just got to push him a little bit. You're going to have to, make him come over and run one of the charity races or something. Get him hooked on it.
I'm telling you. Yeah, that's all it'll take, too.
Yeah, dude, amen. It's crazy. Obviously, you've raced with me and my father before, my dad doing the asphalt stuff. But my little brother, man, he is the one that got the Chapman family on the bug, and he doesn't do it anymore. So is
that right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It took me and Dad one shot at it at his house, and we got hooked, man. And now he doesn't even do it. It's unbelievable.
That's kind of my son. I was into RC racing. I actually owned a RC track at one time, and
oh wow, didn't know that. That's cool, Brian.
Yeah. Skip's RC, it's still open, but we sold out of it. But my son told me once I sold out of the track, I still had all kinds of RC stuff. And my son told me about this iRacing stuff that he was just starting to get into, and he talked me into selling my RC stuff and investing in the iRacing stuff. And man, I've been hooked ever since. This is cool. I'm still having fun 5 years later.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about, having fun. And Brian, you can definitely tell you're doing that, man, and it translates to the racetrack. Another podium for you here. Congratulations, brother. Are we going to see you in the 410?
Yes, I'm going to try the 410s tonight. So, yeah.
All right, Brian, give him hell, man. Hopefully I'm talking to you again here, brother. Good luck.
All right, Shaggy, thanks.
Man, Brian Moore Sr., Skips RC. How cool is that, man? The more you learn about some of these people. And man, that kind of, before I pull anybody up, that makes me think about Bob Light a little bit. I'm pretty sure Bob was into those, and we lost Bob last year. Sucks. He used to look forward to trying to, and when I say trying, I mean trying to keep up with that man on a GT3 or in a road course, because he was next level. That's really cool. The people in the hobbies we have in Coast to Coast, definitely a lot of different hobbies out there. But this man, Gavin Chatham, it's a hobby of his, has to be collecting podiums. He gets another one here, and running side by side with Grandy. I know, I'm going to clear the conscience a little bit. I'm pretty sure, you left him enough room coming off the corner, and everybody knows, man, you got to float up. You gotta keep the speed coming off the corner, and with a late run, I don't think you're really the guilty party there. I think that's just a product of racing. But what's your take on it here, Gavin?
Yeah, I watched the replay. I think it's just a racing deal. I mean, obviously, you hate that it happens, but I mean, I was trying to close the door on him a little bit, but I realized that it wasn't going to happen, and I started coming back down the racetrack. But I think he was in the wall a little bit too before we even. I mean, we barely touched. So, yeah, it's a product of racing. Sometimes you got to know when the hole's going to close and stay open, and we're racing hard there for position, so I'm not just going to give it to him. But yeah, I think it's just a racing deal. Obviously, I'm not trying to wreck somebody intentionally, but yeah, it's just unfortunate because we and him had a heck of a battle there. It was a really tough battle. The night it was hard to fight back up there. I think we dropped down to fifth and was able to fight back up to second, and really would like to have had a shot at Blake, obviously, but it was just with 2 laps to go and green white checkered, and he's fast. It ain't gonna happen. And I didn't get to search around like I usually like to during a race or see what was going on. I was mired to basically where everyone else wasn't running, just to try to get back up to the front. Just that start really killed us. So we had to fight our way back up there. But all in all, it was a good run, and definitely a second place finish. We'll take it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we know the deal here. Green, white, checkered starts on dirt. I mean, hands down advantage to leader. It's almost next to impossible to steal that thing. But did you have any hopes and dreams going into that final 2? Did you think maybe we could close it down and steal it?
Yeah, I tried sailing it in on the top in 1 and 2. I wasn't even. I've been running the bottom in 1 and 2, and I honestly had no idea what it was going to do, and it stuck really well. And I'm like, okay, I got a shot, and then I messed up 3 and 4, and it was just a product of running the bottom the whole time. I didn't really know what was going to happen to the top, and I missed the top of 3 and 4, and kind of just tried something in 1 and 2 in the last lap, and just kind of just secured second place. It's just hard to do. It's just really hard to do. The track was changing a lot too. Just probably should have paid more attention to what everyone else was doing, but and see where they were fast. But I mean, Blake was running the top and he was fast, and he was running the bottom, he was fast. So both lines seemed to be good there, but definitely wasn't a lack of effort for sure. I try my best to sail it into 1 and 2, and hopefully get a run on him. Maybe you could hear me out there make a mistake or something, but we didn't get as good a run as I'd hoped. And sometimes it's the way the cookie crumbles. Definitely though, a solid run. Like I said, we'll take P2 and hopefully improve 1 spot better for the 410s.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, podiums are good, Gavin. You know that. They add up in the points hunt. So great run, man. Congratulations on it. Who you want to thank?
I just want to thank you, Shaggy, for doing an awesome job with the broadcast, Coast to Coast Racing, all the sponsors, admin, everybody, Flatline Racing Bodies, everybody involved with this league, and allowing us to come out here and go racing. I just want to thank Full Throttle Motorsports, FTM, Mike Schick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, China Motorsports, Swan Speed Shops, and Super Dirt Car Series. I want to thank all the sponsors, all the help. I just want to thank the fans for coming out, watching the races, and I always hope we put on a good show for everybody. And just want to thank my fans as well for watching the races week in, week out.
Well, hey, heck of a run, Gavin. Look forward to see what you can do here in the 410. Good luck, brother.
All right, thanks, Shaggy.
And now we're going to bring up the man who won. Blake, I'm sorry to make you wait so long, but I took a look at that timer, and we're not allowed to go till 8:30. So I extended a long time there with Brian. I had a lot of fun talking to him. But now it's your turn, man. And, you got out front early after starting on fifth there, and took advantage of that inside when everybody wanted that middle top. It's just, when are they going to learn, Blake? If they let that bottom open for you, you're going to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw the opportunity there at the very beginning, and I knew the bottom wasn't going to last very long. It doesn't seem like it lasts very long in these sprint car races. I know when we get to the features, so I was just trying to take advantage of it while I could. And we were able to, pick a couple of guys off from that bottom, and we were able to get Grandy there after a couple lap battle. And I knew I wanted that top, especially in 3 and 4, and we went up there. And it took some time to get used to running that, and then cutting down into 1. I was carrying more speed coming off the top of 4 than I was coming off the bottom of 4, so I had to change my entry up a little bit. It took me a little while to get used to that, but once we got used to that, we really got dialed in and were able to build up a lead there.
No, really, this is a genuine question, Blake, because we both know I'm not out front that often. What's it feel like? You're out there setting the pace, and when the car starts to go away from you in a certain line, do you have a devil on your shoulder telling you to stay, the angel telling you to go explore? I mean, what goes through your head here?
Yeah, usually, what I do in that spot, I did a little bit tonight, is I run a little different line if I feel like, maybe the line's going away a little bit, and then I look at my lap times and compare them, see which one is quicker. And I was able to do that. I ran the top in 1 and 2 for a couple laps, but I saw my lap times were better running down on the bottom in 1 and 2. So we stuck it down there, and I knew the top was going to be the way around in 3 and 4. So, that was our line, and it felt good for like the last about 10 or 15 laps or so. So, we were able to get comfortable running that line and hold on for a win.
Well, hey, man, 2 for 2 on the podiums tonight. I think that's pretty good. I'd say so. And we got 1 more left. I think I might be talking to you after that one, too. But you know the deal, Blake. Got a lot of sponsors on that thing, man. Let's hear all about them.
Yeah, first I got to thank the parents for watching. And, of course, I got to thank the KSR boys, especially Terry, for running with me tonight. And, of course, I got to thank the Salty Dogs for letting us hop in their Discord tonight. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes. Got to thank Jeff Barker for the admin tonight. And, of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They have some very delicious popcorn. You can head over to their website. And don't forget to use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And, of course, I got to thank everyone that puts on this league and you for broadcasting it, Shaggy.
Hey, I appreciate that. Heck of a run, Blake. Go get him in the 410s, kid.
Thank you.
Blake Chapman, your 360 sprint car winner here. And, of course, as always, parking it in his Flatline Racing Body victory lane here. I mean, Blake, he's no stranger to winning at Husette's. It's kind of been his show on Wednesday night. The Blake Chapman special. He does it again. We'll have to see if he can go 3 for 3 on the podiums. But before we do, we've got to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network with your 410 sprint car feature right after these words.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
Bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
Outpouring of love. It was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network for part 3 of your Hometown Heroes, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies, for your 410 sprint car feature here at the Huset's Speedway. Just about a minute or so here until they can advance. Only 8 drivers in this one. The high side banger Patrick Spangler is in here once again. Hasn't put down a time. Not sure if he'll grace us with his presence in that 39. May have been busy being a dad. Patrick, I believe, the father of two kids. I know one of them's a young boy. I think his oldest may be a daughter. Patrick can yell at me if I'm wrong, but I believe he's father of 2. So sometimes duty calls. And with that, the checkered flag waves here on your warm-ups at the Huset's Speedway, and we're going to get ready to roll into your final qualifying here of the night. And I imagine that 31 of Brandon Templeton will be the first car off of pit road. And surprise, surprise, the 31 of Brandon Templeton is your first car off pit road. And can confirm the high side banger Patrick Spangler is mobile. Now, he's not going very fast according to the radar. He's going about 14 mile an hour. Now he drops the hammer. He's rolling as Brandon Templeton rolls around. He's ready to collect info here. Lap number 1, but he's collapsed that outside wall. We saw him do it in the 360s. It didn't stop him. He still got the pole. What does this mean? What can the 31 do? Final time. He slaps it again. He's not going to get a lap. Going to get the slap on the wrist there. They're going to wipe that off. Here's the Patrick Spangler. Comes around for the final time through 3 and 4. He's slower. He's going to stay P2. Blake Chapman, what can he do? He's on lap number 1. Through 3 and 4. He's got that thing on rails. What's the time look like? P5 for Blake. Not the speed he'd like to see. A little slower through sector 1. Meanwhile, Gavin Chatham comes in. And he rains on everybody's parade. The Dark Knight, he's still got one more lap here as he closes up. Didn't need to improve as he completes his qualifying with a 10.62. That's the pole for the 99. Full Throttle Motorsports driver of Gavin Chatham. See here, we'll do the interview camera a little bit here that we roll around with. Just watch Gavin rip this place down. He's the only guy on the racetrack. He's just out here having some fun before qualifying comes to an end, which is right now. As you see, the timer says 0. And we're going to roll into our one and only heat race here with the 410s tonight as we wait for our starting grid. There it is. Rounding out the field outside of row number 4, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton, lined up on the inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 3 to the outside, the salesman, Blake Chapman, lining up on the inside, the 513 of Jeffrey Barker. Your P4 starter, the 99 of Gavin Chatham, lining up to his inside, starting third, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr. Row number 1 for your third and final feature of the evening here for your hometown heroes. Starting on the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, and lining up on the inside, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. We roll around here. Brian Moore Sr. Gonna take P1. Patrick Spangler not making the grid here. So Patrick doing Patrick things here. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Your heat race is underway. Terry Landis looking to take advantage of that outside. He roars to the lead early as Mr. Wednesday Night tries to hold that pace. Stay with them, does a good job for now, but Gavin Chatham, man, he's going to search for a way around. He was really fast. Oh, contact behind. Blake Chapman, and I believe that was Jeff Barker. Couldn't tell how it happened. Let's see. We've got time here. We can look at it real quick. So Barker gets a run out of 2. He comes up, gets into the outside. Driver, which was the 20 of Blake Chapman, and Blake, he loses a spot because it falls back to 4th. But meanwhile, Terry Landis, looky who out front. He's already won 1 race tonight in the midgets. Can he make it 2? He's going to be off to a good start. Final time down the backstretch through 3 and 4. The Desert Demon going to start on the pole. Brandon Templeton 2nd, Gavin Chatham 3rd, Blake Chapman 4th, Bob DeGood 5th, Brian Moore Sr. 6th, Jeff Barker 7th, and Patrick Spangler rounding out the field as we take a short break, and we'll be right back for your 410 feature here, brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. A little over 10 seconds here before we roll into the feature. Patrick Spangler is gracing us with his presence here in warm-up. So I imagine he's going to run in the feature. Just wants to start in the back here. Work a little hard. And I wouldn't be surprised if... well, there we see some teammates having fun. It's the checkered flag flies through 3 and 4, Blake Chapman and Terry Landis, but I wouldn't be surprised. Patrick's one of those guys here, too. I don't care what he says. He'll duck out of a podium spot if he's not running for points. So don't be surprised if, maybe works his way on up there and we see him peter off a little bit in the final couple laps. But let's take a look at our starting grid here. Rounding out the field in that 39, the high side banger Patrick Spangler, and is inside the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 3 to the outside, Mr. Wednesday Night in the 055, Brian Moore Sr., and is inside the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 2 to the outside, the Salesman in the 20, Blake Chapman, and is inside the 99 of the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham. Your front row for your Flatline Racing Bodies 410 feature looks a little something like this. On the outside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton, and starting on the pole, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. So we're going to do those 2 opening pace laps here No rush to get the show going. Desert Demon gonna pace himself. Gonna talk to himself in that race car. Make sure he's doing the right thing here. Maybe talk himself through his line. Oh, roll real slow. Guide yourself through what you want to do, because advantage is not on the leader here at the start of the race. You know, they start on the green flag. So right now, it's probably advantage to the 31 of Brandon Templeton. So Terry's really got to be on it if he wants to walk out of 1 and 2 with the lead, as we see the Steve King Foundation pace truck pull off. Drivers roll through 3 and 4 for the final time, as the Flatline Racing Bodies 410 feature gets ready to play in the clay. 25 laps at Houston Speedway. We're underway. You see B-Temp there. He gets in the outside wall going into 1, and that's all the Desert Demon needs to get up and shut that door going down the backstretch as we roll down past the start-finish line. The 161's your leader after lap 1. Blake Chapman tries to make a move on the high side as Gavin Chatham has a bit of a hiccup downstairs. He's going to wish he could go back to 3 and 4 and do that again. He's going to lose one. Brian Moore Sr. thinking about making a run here on the high side, but Gavin nails it this time. Good run on the bottom. Oh, and all this while I missed a pass for the lead. B-Temp gets up front. Now Blake looks to the inside. We got to go. We got to find this pass for the lead here. Brandon Templeton coming off of 4 gets a run on the inside, and just a little bit of slide job through 1 and 2, enough to get it done. As we go back live here, Blake Chapman tries to get the pass done. He does finally complete it. And Terry Landis started on the pole, sinking fast. Gavin Chatham makes a move here. Can't throw the slide job. Terry's right there. Good run for the 161. Little hiccup there, though, on entry. And now Gavin with a good run off of 4. He can throw it this time. Keeps it downstairs, though. And Gavin, now he's got to go back to work. He worked so hard. Had a chance to throw it. Now maybe watched it go away as B-Temp clips that outside wall going down the front stretch. That allows Blake Chapman to really eat at that gap. Brandon then clips the inside berm, and Blake Chapman all over the tail tank of that 31, and we're not even halfway. 15 to go this time, and we got a new leader. Blake Chapman's got it at the line. Can Brandon Templeton fight back, or is Blake going to be too strong? Pinches that 20 down on entry. Give it back to the 31 this time. Blake, no short slider from him. Keeps it downstairs. Likes the grip going down the backstretch. Can he fight back coming out of 4? The answer's no. Give it to Brandon. B-Temp, when he hits his marks and is in his rhythm, he's going to be tough to beat on that top shelf. But you saw him. I mean, he got in that outside wall the 1 lap. A little bit of a hiccup the next. Now, back in the rhythm. And Blake Chapman, he's got to go back upstairs to compete. As Terry Landis holding off the 99 of Gavin Chatham. He's really breathed some life back into this 161. I mentioned he was sinking fast. And well, we saw Blake Chapman or Brandon Templeton. One of them kissed that outside wall a little bit. Had to be the 31, because look at Blake Chapman all over him once again here with 9 laps to go this time as we come out of 4. Brandon back in the wall. Blake can't get a run, though. He's going to need to throw a slide job. Can't do it through 3 and 4. If he gets the run off of 4, you got to do it through 1 and 2. Brandon in the wall. This was his chance. Blake stays down on the bottom, committed. He can go up and shut the door here. He does. Crossover. Brandon takes a peek down low. They touch. B-Temp gets a little bit sideways. Didn't want to go up in front of Blake. Gets in the wall. Up and over. Up and over. Tipsy-turvy rolling. Still going. Lands on all 4s, but Brandon Templeton, that may be all she wrote for the 31. Just trying to come back, drive that thing for all it's worth. And you know what? Let's go back a little further, because you can see the contact starts there between him and Blake. Blake comes down ever so little as the 31's coming up ever so little. They meet in the middle. Messes up the 31's entry a little bit. You're going to see him get sideways. He's just trying to steam it for all that it's worth. Gets up close to that wall. Can't get out of it. Gets trapped up in there and just up and over. Spinny, spinny. And the 31, if he is in VR, man, he may have had to reach for the bucket after that one. Wild ride for the 31. That moves Terry Landis back to P2 and moves Gavin Chatham up in that third and final podium spot. He doesn't want to look at the tail tank of that 20 anymore. He's tired of, listening to the popcorn after his interview. He wants to talk after the popcorn. We'll see if the 99 can get up there and dance. He just doesn't really have enough time, I don't think. With the way the 161's been able to motor off corner exit, Gavin's really going to have to find something, work out a miracle here as we roll through 3 and 4. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're back underway. 6 to play. Blake Chapman on the inside there through 1 and 2. This is the top shelf in 3 and 4. That's what worked for him in the 360s. As Gavin tried to take a peek, but Terry shuts the door, and we saw Gavin do something like that in a similar fashion to Grandy, but he gets the slide job through 3 and 4. Move Gavin on up to P2. Now he just needs a quick caution. If he wants to make a run at Blake, he's going to need a quick caution. And with only 6 guys out there on the racetrack, 7 is Brandon Templeton just a little bit behind after having to tow. You don't think we're going to get one here as 2 sticks in the air. 2 more trips around for the Popcorn King. Through 3 and 4, white flag in the air. Blake Chapman, he's only got to hold on for 1 more circuit. Gavin has reeled him in, but half a second back. Not enough time as we roll off a 4. Blake Chapman goes back to back in the sprint cars at Hughes Speedway. Gavin Chatham P2, and the Desert Demon holds on for 3rd. Bob DeGood 4th. Brian Moore Sr. 5th. Jeff Parker 6th. And Brandon Templeton 7th. With the high side banger, Patrick Spangler calling it a night there. As in Patrick Spangler fashion, a couple laps early. He's going to bring it home P8. Now we get to go find the Desert Demon Terry Land to see if we can get a word with this man in the 161. Started up front. Doesn't finish there, but I think the 161 is going to be happy with a podium. And as he rightfully should be. Not a lot of cars, but some of the names that we do have very fast drivers. And Terry Landis proves once again why he is considered one of them. 3 podiums here this evening as we pull the driver up. Terry Landis, man. Oh, wait, no, I almost said 3. Wait, did we get a podium in the 360 race?
No,
I was going to say, I'm a liar. Okay, I said 3 for 3. I'm sorry. I'm dumb sometimes. A lot of times if you ask my wife, but Terry, it seemed like they're in the early stages. It just, weren't necessarily comfortable with the car. Once Brandon worked you up to that outside, Blake was able to get under you, and it looked like Gavin was going to follow him on by, man. But you really figured it out, made him work for it, and if it wasn't for, a late race restart and slide job, you may have been able to hold on to P2. Talk to us about your race.
Yeah, it was a good race. The car was fast. Hey, for Brandon, though, he was running good. Then he had to hit the inside there. But, yeah, we were running good. Yeah, I really was searching for somewhere to go. And then when them guys, I heard him back there, and I said, I'm not going to force him, Blake, and then let him go. And then Gavin came and let him go, too, and just tried my best to follow them guys and do what they did.
Yeah, and I mean, as much, I know how painful that is, Terry. No racer really wants to do that, but how important is it sometimes? And I mean, you're really, I mean, you're getting a free driving lesson behind those guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they pass you, that means they found something that you're not looking for. So, you should give it one or two, three laps to see if you can make it work for your car set up for like that. And if not, go back to what you were doing.
Yeah, and I mean, just doing things like that week in and week out, that's what develops you into the driver that you are, man. You're really skilled at all things, maybe not, what do they say? Master of none, but jack of all. They right,
No,
Terry?
no, no. No, no. You're a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. I just said it
Yeah.
in reverse order. There we go.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
yeah, that's how I myself.
no, yeah, I mean, and you really prove it. I mean, you can go out there, you can drive a midget, you can slap a wing on it, drive it, and I've seen you wheel those modifieds. I mean, we don't do it all the time anymore, but I know you can drive those things too. And great run tonight, Terry. 2 podiums and, well, I mean, a double podium here for the KSR boys. So congratulations. Who you want to thank?
Oh, you of course, Shaggy and Shaggy TV. Always watch it. And the Flatline Racing Bodies, because when you get in accidents, you call them and they'll send you a new piece. And Seed to Sea gives us a place to race, and all the admins back there, because without them, we couldn't do it. And Kreitzel Track Parts, them too. Wreck something, give them a call, they'll send it to you. And guys at KSR and Blake, Gallon's Homegrown Popcorn, and use the word CART in the code in the checkout, and you'll get 15% off. And Jeter and my wife Judy.
Well, hey, man, a win in a third. That's going to be a good night. Congratulations. That's something to hang your hat on, and I can't wait to talk to you here in the future. Good run tonight, Terry.
All right, Shaggy, thanks.
Terry Landis. I didn't drag him down. I'm still not dragging Terry down. There we go. Now he could hear me that whole time. It's always weird to me when I think the driver's hear their outro. I don't know why. Just pet peeve of mine. Gotta drag him out. But Terry Landis brings home P3, and now we bring up the man who was able to edge him out there at the end, but just not enough time. Gavin, you had a quick race car. You started to reel in Blake at the end, but it just seemed like you battled so long with Terry there in the middle stages that you couldn't really go up there and flirt with those front two. And then, well, we saw what happened to Brandon, and just you're able to get up to P2, but just not enough time.
Yeah, it's the track didn't really widen out enough until the end there, and that's what I kept getting good runs on Terry, but I just couldn't clear him. And then he was running the middle, so I couldn't slide him because it's so tight here. You can't slide. I couldn't slide him, and then I tried running the top and tried to get on the outside of him, but he kept kind of washing up towards the wall. So I saw that was coming each time, so I didn't want to put my nose there and get in the wall. So yeah, I was just kind of I had to be super patient. And then luckily I got such a good run off of 1 and 2. I was able to get so much momentum down the backstretch. I was able to slide him in a 3 and 4 a little bit and go. And then yeah, man, that thing was hooked up at the end there. It felt really good. Car felt great at the end, and I was starting to reel Blake, and I just unfortunately ran out of laps. I think it's a story in the 410s this year. I think I have 3 or 4 second place finishes, so maybe we'll get a 410 win here shortly. But all in all, once again, another good run. Can't complain about finishing second in both divisions.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to that, you hinted on it a little bit, but that late race slider, I mean, you've kind of been committed to one lane, all night, haven't really been able to throw that slider. How difficult is it to get the rear end to stick like you did, and your one and only shot, really? I mean, hate to quote Eminem, but one shot, one opportunity, I mean, you had to make it work.
Yeah, if it didn't work there, it was it definitely we wouldn't have had anything. Terry probably would have drove back around me, or and then we definitely wouldn't have had a shot at Blake at all. But yeah, it's just you just gotta be focused, and honestly, a lot of it's being focused, being smooth, and then not being too aggressive with it. But then also just seat time. Honestly, it's just a seat time and knowing how far you can push the car into what limits. And kind of just reading the track and where it's at and how far and how hard you can really go with the slider. Luckily, it sticked and it gripped up and it went and put it in a spot where he couldn't drive underneath me, and then we were good to go. But yeah, it could be tricky and challenging sometimes. I think Brandon actually made that mistake. He tried throwing a slider one. I think he hit the berm, which is also something very easily you can do here. And you hit that and it shoots you right up the racetrack and it just kills all your momentum and pretty much your lap, your whole corner kills. So yeah, that's just being patient, being smooth, and just picking the right moments at the right time. That's the other thing too. Is just that everything kind of worked out perfectly with that. Because sometimes you throw sliders and you're not quite clear of them, or you're not going to, so you back out of it. So it just really worked out. It was perfect timing to be able to get around him and then try to run Blake down.
Well, man, I mean, you said it. It's just another story in that page, man, or a book, or another page in that book. Excuse me, Gavin. You always seem to get the second, but man, we can't get enough laps for you to go up there and get to play with Blake. If we could maybe, get about 5-6 more drivers out here, beat up the track a little bit, I think we could widen it out for you, maybe help you out. But until then, Gavin, we got to figure something out to beat this 20 because we don't want to keep coming on P2. I know how good they feel, but man, they can get sick after a while, I'm sure. But congratulations, man. Good run. Who you want to thank?
I just want to thank you, Shaggy, for doing an awesome job with the broadcast. I want to thank Coast to Coast Racing, Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Wednesday night. Coast to Coast Racing, all the sponsors, all the admin, everybody that's involved in this league allows us to come out here and put on a good show for everybody. I just want to thank FTM Full Throttle Motorsports, Mike Schick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, Chatham Motorsports, Swan Speed Shop, and Super Dirt Car Series. So thank you all the sponsors. Just want to thank fans for coming out, watching this series, and watching the races. I like I always say, I probably tired of me saying it, but I really do hope that we put on a good show for everybody, and I hope everybody enjoys the races. And I just want to thank my fans as well for supporting me week in and week out.
Well, you did a great job once again, Gavin. Absolutely put on a heck of a show, working your way through the field. Like I say, just running out of time there. And, well, we're going to get you on this top step before the end of the year. Good luck the rest of the way, Gavin, and love talking to you, brother.
All right. Thanks, Shaggy. Always fun talking to you, man. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
Sounds good, Gavin. And now we're going to bring up the man who, surprise, surprise, welcome back, Mr. Blake Chapman. And I'll tell you, man, I know you had a big lead at the end, but, maybe a mistake there from the 31. Talk to us about that race. He was making you work. You'd reel him back in, you'd go down to the bottom, and it just couldn't mount the charge. You'd have to fall back in line. How important was it for you to, ring 2 or 3 good laps together before you could throw that slide job?
Yeah, it was really important. I was searching for a little bit. He was running that middle line, and the track really wasn't super racy enough to where I could, run around him on the outside. And I didn't really want to do that because it was getting slick. And then I knew he was drifting up at the exits, and me coming with a full head of steam on the outside, it's a recipe for disaster there. So I was peeking my nose inside a couple of times, but there just wasn't enough down there to get around him. And I didn't want to slide him because I figured he was right in that middle, and I didn't want to, cause a huge wreck. So we were just patient there, and I saw him getting to the wall one time going into one. So I dove it down low and then set myself up in 3 and 4 to throw the slider, and we were able to get around him.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Right as you said that, it was the time before, but I'm going to say we saw him tap the wall a couple times, and he's not the only driver to do that. I mean, we just saw Terry slap the right rear off the wall actually as well. And what was so tricky about that outside tonight, man, that it was just sucking drivers up in the wall?
Yeah, I would say it was trickier than usual. I noticed that right when I got into the session. It's like I told Terry, it feels a little slippery tonight. Felt like it was sucking me out to the wall a little bit. So, I just restricted that engine a little bit, and you just got to be careful on the exits. Once it gets a little slick here, it could really take you for a ride. So, I think we only had 1 or 2 cautions tonight, so that's good. Hopefully, we can get some more cars out here, for all divisions. So that would be great to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been pleading with people out there. I mean, Blake, back in the day, we know when this thing, I mean, dude, we'd have 32, 33 guys sometimes, sending a good bit home. So definitely got to put out the call here, try to get some guys to come back, because this racing here at Husette's, man, it's been a lot of fun. And like I say, it's been your sandbox. You've really got it figured out. Hopefully somebody can come in here and kick over your sandcastle one of these nights, make you work a little harder. But until then, Blake, you know the deal, man. You keep winning. We keep hearing it. Let's hear you ring it off, brother.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sure it's getting a little old by now, but
never. I'm no joke, and this isn't a plug. I get nothing. That Galen's popcorn does not get old. It is a fat man's dream, and I absolutely love that snack. I've ordered it so many times.
Hey, that's great to hear, man. First I got to thank the parents for watching. I got to thank Terry and all the other guys down at KSR. We were able to pull off the KSR sweep tonight here for Hometown Heroes, so that's pretty cool. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. And of course, I got to shout out Jeff Barker for the admin tonight. I got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes. And I got to thank some of the stuff that you love, Zach. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You can head over to their website. And don't forget to use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. I got to thank everyone that's involved in the league, and thank you for putting this broadcast on every week.
Well, hey, hell of a run tonight, Blake. Congratulations. And yeah, you touched on something I forgot. I guess KSR with Terry winning the midgets, you do sweep the night. So that's been a couple times this season. Got to get some more bodies in here, fight with you guys. But until then, man, the dominance continues. Hell of a night tonight, Blake, and I look forward to talking to you again next week, kid.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
Blake Chapman, the kid who took absolutely all of the iRacing talent, gets it done. And, well, sorry, you're hearing my voice skip because I'm looking at the broadcast on my phone. I can see it chopping up a little bit. And it's not a connection issue, so it's been happening at these points when I'm clicking other buttons. Shaggy's going to have to look into, I keep talking about myself in the third person too. My wife hates that. I've got to look into, maybe I got a little bit of a CPU issue. We'll have to check some temperatures and stuff, but sorry about the hiccups here in interviews, but until then, we're going to be signing off here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So on behalf of everyone, Roger Craig, all the admins, I'm Zach Chapman from Shaggy TV saying, have a good evening. Good night.